So our next question then is going to be for Alice. And the question is, what are the main contributors to PM 2.5?
It's like a test, isn't it? So fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, is a result of combustion. So that's where it comes from. So if you're burning a fuel, and it can be pretty much any kind of fuel, whether it's, we think of wood, oil, natural gas, all different types of fuels. If you combust that, you'll get really fine particles that are emitted because we don't, most equipment that burns fuel doesn't burn completely. There's not complete combustion. So the byproduct of that is fine particulates, and that's a mixture of direct particles, carbon, elemental and organic carbon, as well as gases that can also form secondary particles in the atmosphere. So the main sources are combustion sources. In this particular community, the work that we've done here over the years has suggested that the primary source of fine particles in this community tends to be space heating, primarily from solid fuel space heating, wood and coal space heating. But there are also components that we see on our monitors that relate to combustion of other sources, diesel for heating, also for other purposes. Transportation sources have an impact. Stationary sources, industrial sources can have an impact. So all of the sources in your community that burn fuel can contribute, but the primary, the largest contribution that we're seeing at our sites here in Fairbanks and North Pole is from solid fuel heating, primarily.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question is going to be for Nick with the Borough here. We've had active programs going on in the Borough now for some time. So what have we done in the last 10 years, Nick?
Let's see if I can do it. Oh, thank you, Mike. So there has been a lot of work that has been done over the past 10 years on this issue. You know, as Krishna laid out, the basis of, everything that's been done is to improve the health of the community. And as Alice noted, with the, predominant source being residential wood heating, that has naturally been the focus of the areas that we want to control emissions, because that's where we're going to get the most improvement. And so over the past 10 years, DEC is now working on their second state implementation plan, the first one being the moderate SIP. Within that, there were a lot of voluntary programs that included education and outreach, and the borough had run programs like the Split, Stack, and Store campaign to promote best burning practices, which reduce emissions. There's also been a wood stove changeout program that has been active within the borough for the past decade, and that's been a really good reduction of emissions. And in addition to that, there's other regulatory requirements that, these are kind of the more contentious ones that I think a lot of folks are definitely want to know more about. Those include the curtailment program, opacity regulations, and restrictions on the types of devices that can go in with, stricter emission reductions, looking at the cleanest devices that are out there. And there's others, but those are kind of the highlights.